Guys, Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. What's going on, guys? I'm in a good mood today. Let's talk about the best artifacts to farm here in 2023. A lot has changed. As a matter of fact, I think that, 2, maybe 3 years ago, first of all, 75% of these artifacts didn't even exist. And some of them, the ones that did exist, really kind of sucked.
Sin City was a maybe.
Now they buffed artifact sets and a lot has changed. So what I'm going to do is share my top 10 artifact sets to farm, and then I'm going to give you examples of champions that I use in that gear. I think I have champions in most of these gear, if not all. So let's go ahead through it really quickly, guys. In tournaments, I'm not going to cover tournaments, Relentless gear. Everybody knows, that Relentless gear is amazing, but you can't really reliably farm it unless you're just, spending on every tournament, right?
Woo! More money, more money!
I'm not going to include Forge Pass either. Bolster and Defiant are incredible sets, but it depends on the Forge Pass season, and we don't know what the future will entail, so I don't want to I don't want to touch too much on that. Demon Lord, obviously, we're trying to do that every day to the best of your ability, and you're going to be naturally farming Cruel and Immortal gear there. Same thing with Hydra Clan Boss. Stone Skin especially is very, very good. Protection's not bad. So those artifacts I'm not going to touch on today's video, but rest assured everything that I mentioned there is really, really good, and you should be, using your Demon Lord battles, because how else are you going to get shards and legendary skill tomes besides paying? Here we go. Let's go ahead and talk about it. This is in no particular order because, of course, it depends on what you need, right? It depends on what kind of gear that you need. So let's start off with probably one of the most obvious out there. It's going to be the gear that you want all of your nukers in for the most part. We'll talk about we'll talk about the other alternative in a little bit here, but it's Savage, right? Ignoring 25% of enemy defense on top of the Helm Smasher Mastery, where you're have a chance at ignoring another 25% of target's defense, is going to be your best recipe for one-shots from your arena nuker. Make sure you're picking up like Ruthless Ambush as well, Opportunist, and really getting the most out of that one nuke from your nuker. And of course, you farm Savage gear from the Fire Knight's Drag.
What the hell's going on over here?
Fire Knight's Dragon, eh? Fire Knight's Castle, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you stock up on your Savage gear. You can never have enough. That's what I've learned over my years. Well, right here anyway in Fire's Knight. So the other one that I want to mention is Regeneration. Now, when I started, nobody used regen gear. Now, almost everybody uses regen gear. It is the gear that, well, it heals your champion, it keeps them alive, and it allows players to solo so much content inside the game. I recently actually just put out a video with Walking Tomb Drang, who I'm using to solo Sand Devil, and I have him in Regeneration in Immortal, healing by 15% plus another 3 for an 18% every single turn. And again, that's another reason why you're going to want to spend a lot of time farming the Fire Knight. All right, next up, guys, is going to be the only artifact set that we have on the list from Ice Golem. So Ice Golem is probably the least farmed dungeon inside the game, especially today. A lot of the artifacts are just kind of very, very basic, but not Reflex. Reflex is amazing now. They gave it a big buff. It's a 40% chance now of reducing the cooldown of a random skill. So now that they buffed the Reflex set, I think it was 30 added to 40, or was it 20 added to 40? Either way, they buffed the set, and then they added customized AI, so we can choose which skills champions are using or not using. It's probably the best update in the history of Raid Shadow Legends, to be honest with you guys.
Is he doing this on purpose?
Now we can turn off abilities, and that cooldown's gonna go to whatever skill we want it to, right? Oh, I thought I had Bed L in Reflex, but you know who I do? Geomancer, right? So you can turn off, for example, Geomancer. I can turn off his A2 ability. Then I can just use his most powerful ability, his A3, and the Reflex is going to have a 40% chance every turn of reducing the cooldown of said ability. So Reflex gear is incredible. I use it on so many champions in the game, and again, you can find that right inside Ice Golem's Peak. Why am I having trouble? Ice Castle, Ice Dragon, Fire Dragon. Come on, Ash, get with it, bro.
You can't do anything.
Speaking of Dragon, the only set that we have in Dragon's Lair, this is one of the OG sets that was the best in the game, and when I started playing this game, and it's still one of the best sets in the game, and it's Speed. It's a 2-piece set for plus 12% speed. Speed is still king for the most part in Raid Shadow Legends, you always want, you know, your speed boosters, your go first champions to be very fast. What better way to make them fast than to put them into very nice speed gear? I still run my Arbiter, who is my speed farming lead. If I can find her, I still run her in speed gear, in a triple speed set as well. So speed, and more speed, equaling 379 on my Arbiter. The best thing you can find in this game in terms of speed is speed boots with a speed set with a speed ascension. The trifecta, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, guys, is going to be a good old stun set. So good old stun you get again from Fire Knight's Castle, another really good set that you can find in Fire Knight's Castle. And stun is king in this game. In the early game, it can help you with progression, help you get through waves that otherwise you would not be able to get through. Obviously, it's tremendous in Doom Tower waves as well. And in the end game, in the secret rooms, man, I use stun on almost every single champion for all those end game secret rooms on Doom Tower hard. If you don't know what those are, if you're a new player, don't worry, you'll know eventually, and you're going to need a lot of good stun gear. So obviously I have Soulbound Boyer in stun, I have Khazar Deepheart in stun. Basically, I'm looking for a champion with an AoE on their A1 ability, or 2 strong AoE attacks, or 1 strong AoE attack in their kit, so they can have a chance of stunning as much as possible. Keep in mind that, guys, that a landing debuff from artifact sets does not require accuracy too, so that's a nice little bonus about a stun set. Next up, guys, is going to be Lifesteal in the early game, or Bloodthirst in the late game. And who do I have in Lifesteal? It's a beautiful way to heal your champion, to keep them alive, essentially, healing by 30% of the damage dealt. So you put a DPS in Lifesteal gear, especially in the early game, or Bloodthirst, which you can get from the Eternal Dragon in Doom Tower rotation. A lot of Doom Tower artifacts coming up next here. Lifesteal is amazing, right? Healing by 30% of the damage dealt is fantastic. It's going to keep them alive, especially, again, in the early game. We have Shield Guard here in a Lifesteal set. Obviously, it does a great job soloing content by healing himself up. Also, ally protection champions, especially kind of in the early to mid game, you want to put them in lifesteal. That way they're healing themselves up after they soak up all that damage from all of your other champions on your team, okay? So, or a provoke champion, someone who's going to be taking a lot of damage, right? Not a bad idea to put them in lifesteal as well. I don't know if I have her right now in lifesteal, but Vizix the Unbowed is a good example of that, right? All right, next up, guys, is going to be personally my favorite set to farm, especially in Doom Tower, and that is Lethal, right? So Lethal we get from Dark Fae. Everybody out there wants to find...
Why am I here?
Hefrak, I have him in Savage. Who do I have in Lethal right now? Let me find some Lethal gear, and I'll be right back. Here we go. Good old Foley has some. So Lethal gear is amazing. We're getting 25% ignore enemy defense just like Savage, but we're getting the crit rate on top of it. Helps to put crit damage gauntlets on these champions as well, which you're going to be doing on your nuker, especially in the arena, and then it gives you that extra bump of crit rate. That's why so many people are working on their full auto Dark Fae teams. Dark Fae is the only time that the Dark Fae rotation of Doom Tower that I'm making sure almost every day when I remember, right? But I'm really putting that emphasis on farming Dark Fae with all my keys so I can have better lethal gear for my nukers. Again, you can never have enough good lethal or savage gear inside this game. Next up is Untouchable. I'm not sure who I have, if anybody, in Untouchable gear right now. So rather than look for it, well, I guess I could do it through the artifact, but let's just go ahead and show you here, guys. Untouchable gear is the upgraded gear on immunity, right? It grants immunity for 2 turns and then gives you 40 resistance on top of that, right? You're gonna get Untouchable from the Scarab King. So Scarab King releases incredible gear. Untouchable's great. It's fallen a little bit outside the meta because of Stone Skin, which is like similar in some ways, but Untouchable is going to be blocking, Immune is going to be blocking debuffs, obviously, still prone to like a Warlord or Yumeko, but it's really good gear. Plus 40 resistance, and the immunity is nice. That way you can have some resistance after the immunity wears off, right, or is removed. But the resistance helps it from not being removed as well, right? Next up, guys, is going to be Guardian from the Celestial Griffin. So Guardian is great to put your tanks in. They're going to be soaking up even more damage, so you can build a really tanky champion, and they're going to be eating up damage and healing themselves at the same time. Let me go ahead and see. I know I have some good guys or gals in Guardian gear. Let's see who here. So we have a Mountain King in Guardian. We have a Norog, it looks like, in Guardian. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at Norog, the big pig here. Norog's a great example. He's a nice big tank. He's going to be mitigating damage on his passive anyway. And what we can do is put him in Guardian set and mitigate even more damage from the entire team. Stalwart is also, it could be mentioned kind of in the same sentence. It will mitigate damage from AoE attacks. However, keep in mind that it's not going to absorb damage from all of your allies. Oh, we're missing...
Why am I naked from the waist down?
We're missing the boots here, man. Either way, guys, you can see, what does it do? The wearer absorbs 10% of all damage dealt to allied champions and heals by 10% every turn. So we're getting a little bit of regen action, and we're getting some soak up the damage action as well. Guardian gear, very good. And again, you farm that from the Celestial Griffin. I saved the best set in the game, in my opinion, for last, guys. I think the best set in all of Raid Shadow Legends, personally, is Perception. Perception gear is so freaking good, man. It is so good. I have so many champions in it, but I'm just like, okay, where's Mithrala? I was looking for my girl Mithrala because I know I run her in triple perception. It's incredible. You're getting that 40 accuracy plus the speed, and we spoke about it. Accuracy, you need it on so many champions inside this game, and there it is, triple perception. We're getting plus 40 accuracy and plus 5% speed on every 2-piece set. You get this from Arena and Faction Wars, guys. Do not sleep on Perception. The best artifact set in the game. You can use it on, like, a lot of champions. Most champions in the game need accuracy. So, guys, there you have it. Those are my top 10 artifact sets to farm in Raid Shadow Legends here in 2023. Thank you for watching until the end. And as always, take care, guys. And let me know if I snubbed any of your favorite sets, too, in the comments below. Take care.